Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punches!
I'm real revolutionary right now. Black power.
Support this man, Black media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig? Today is Tuesday, September 3rd, 2024. Coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. Black folks who support reparations in California are angry with the California Black Legislative Caucus for standing in the way of several bills getting through the Assembly. I'm going to talk with the sponsor of the bill who will tell us exactly what happened so we can be real clear on what went down. What the hell is wrong with these white people? These white conservatives are up in arms by saying, oh my goodness, Vice President Kamala Harris was speaking with a Southern twang and she's now code switching. I'm gonna show y'all what this dumbass Peter Ducey literally asked Karine Jean-Pierre at the White House today in the White House briefing. These people are stuck on stupid. And speaking of stuck on stupid, this black MAGA supporter of Trump, remember the black woman who was at Chick-fil-A with him? Well, she was on a C-SPAN show last month, just straight ass lying about Vice President Kamala Harris. I mean, lie after lie after lie, and I'm gonna walk y'all through and expose all of her lies. Also, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton keeps targeting the largest county in Texas, Harris County, that has the most black people when it comes to voting. Yes, their voting intimidation continues. And also, a federal judge has put a temporary stop to Donald Trump using a song co-written by Isaac Hayes. We'll tell you about that as well. It is time to bring the funk. I'm Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
He's got it. Whatever the miss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, roll, roll, y'all. It's Roland Martin, rolling with Roland now. He's funk, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's Roland Martin now.
Folks, things got heated in California where activists who supported reparations there thought they were on the cusp of getting some of the most ambitious reparations legislation in American history. Then all of a sudden, it fell apart. The California Legislative Black Caucus released a statement saying that they were pulling the bills for some reason. They haven't really explained it. So when I saw all of this play out, I said, well, I knew who was sponsoring the bill. And so we reached out to him. He joins us right now to explain what in the heck happened in California. You've seen him on the show numerous times before. California State Senator Steven Bradford. Again, he authored the bill, was on the task force. So he joins us right now. So Senator Bradford, first of all, so explain to people how many bills there were.
There were 14 bills that were introduced that were considered the Black Caucus, Legislative Black Caucus priority bills. There was a few more that weren't deemed priority, but the ones identified for the caucus that we all supported unanimously, I should say, it was 14.
Okay, so there were 14 bills. So you're in the Senate. What got through the House?
What got all the way to the governor's desk?
Yeah, in terms of what got through the House, and then you were hoping it was going to get through the Senate.
Well, my bills got through the Senate. My bills got all the way through the Senate. They got all the way through the Assembly. Through the last committee that they faced, policy committee, was appropriations. And to get out of appropriations without a single amendment, we figured we had no problems when it reached the floor. We had done a vote count, as again, I had 1403, which would stand up the American Freedmen's Affairs Agency, 1050, which would have dealt with the racially motivated taking of property through eminent domain, similar to what I did 3 years ago with Bruce's Beach and returning that property. And then we had SB 1331, which would create a funding mechanism and foundation for reparations going forward, not requiring state money. We would look at federal money, philanthropic money, other means other than state money, since we were in a deficit situation. So those were my three bills. What got through were some bills dealing with books in prison, extension of the Crown Act, the closure of grocery stores, notice, I should say, for the closures of grocery stores and pharmacies. And I just don't have the rest of them in front of me, but those that stuck out for sure.
All right, so then all of a sudden, all hell broke loose. And this is a video here of one of the activists who was speaking outside of the assembly. Watch this.
The bills up now. These are their bills. They have their names on the bills. They killing their own bills because they scared of the government. Now, listen, they gonna see this and they gonna get mad at us. They killing their own bills, then they gonna get mad at us. They killing their own bills because they scared of the government. Okay? We don't care.
We need to send a message
the goddamn bills up now.
The governor needs to understand that the world is watching California, and this is going to have a direct impact on your friend, Kamala Harris, who's running for president. This is going to have a direct impact. So pull up the bills now, vote on them, and sign them.
We have
We've been waiting for over 400 years.
All right, so, and again, so this was another bill here. They were talking to, this was another video. They were talking to Lori Wilson outside the chamber as well. So, all right, what happened? You make it clear, you had the votes. What happened?
I got notice when I was in Chicago 2 weeks ago at the Democratic National Convention by Chair Lori Wilson of the Black Caucus. I'm the vice chair. She pulled me to the side while I was in Chicago, and she says, hey, we've heard word that the administration might have problems with 1403. That was the only bill that we heard, 1403. Again, that was the foundation for standing up the agency. And I said, oh, that's news to me. No one from the administration has contacted me. And I says, what might be some of those concerns? And she wasn't specific. And so I did what I naturally would have done. I picked up the phone. I called my chief of staff. I called my legislative director and asked them were they aware of any of those issues, and they said no. And upon my return on Friday, we had a Zoom meeting with the director of finance for the state of California, and he explained what those concerns were. Joe Stephenshaw, who's a stand-up guy, and he just said, hey, Mr. Bradford, under these tough budgetary deficit year, we have some problems with standing up the agency, and we just have concerns. No time did they say they were going to veto the bill. They just said we had some concerns and they were going to offer up some amendments. He had nothing concrete at that time. So I says, hey, let me see what you come up with and we'll consider it. And fast forward to the next week, Monday, this past Monday, we were on the floor because we're in the last week of session. So we were going late every night. By the time I got a notice from my chief of staff and ledge director around 5 o'clock, they said, we have the amendments. And they're saying, I'm recommending you not take the amendments. And that was our position. We felt the amendments kind of like watered down the bill. It created a study. So we said no to those amendments. And I think that's pretty much what got us here today. Because again, but no time did the governor or anyone in his administration say we're going to veto the bill. So the fear of a veto, I believe, caused members to say, let's hold the bills.
Okay, so here's what I don't understand. If you pass it and he vetoes it, that's on him. By shutting it down, now it's on them. It's on the Black Caucus. And so I don't understand. I mean, you're a legislator. The governor has the right to veto bills. You pass the damn bill and then go, all right, let's see what you're going to do.
I agree. We vetoed our own bill in essence. I mean, I've been doing this for 14 years in the legislature, and it's not the first time. I worked with Governors Schwarzenegger, Brown, and now Newsom, and they've all at some point I've had a bill where they say, hey, we got problems with it, and let's see if we can fix it. And we either come to agreement or we don't. I had a bill last year dealing with social equity with cannabis, and his point person on cannabis met with me and says, hey, Mr. Bradford, we got problems with the bill. We want you to take these amendments. And I looked at him and I said, no, I can't take them. And we moved the bill to his desk. He signed that bill. 4 years ago, as you well know, I was the joint author on NIL. It was tremendous pressure for that bill not to reach the governor's desk. From Emirates of NC2A, everybody was saying, hold the bill, don't get it to his desk. We got it to his desk. There was also a threat of a veto there. But what did he do? Not only did he signed it on LeBron James' show The Shop. So the threat or even this saying that you have trouble was no reason to hold this bill. So I'm just disappointed that it didn't get to the finish line because we were there. And we had done a vote count on my both of my bills, all three of my bills, and we were standing at 50+ votes.
So here's where I'm confused then. So if you had the votes, so what happened where it didn't move forward? So you're saying that the California Legislative Black Caucus as a body, they're the ones who stopped the bill from moving forward?
They expressed concerns of not bringing it up on the floor. And so, you know, I'm a member of the caucus. I got outvoted, and my bills were held.
So here's what I'm confused. Go to my iPad, Henry. So they released this statement here on August 31st, and they said there's been interest regarding the status of Senate Bill 1403. The caucus was unable to participate in the legislative process collectively and only recently became aware of the concerns and issues with the bill. First of all, what the hell does that mean? That they were unable to participate? I'm sorry, y'all, that task force, they've had hearings, we've covered it, we've had the co-chair on. Where in the hell have they been?
And again, I wasn't made aware of their problems with the bills until last week, again, when I was in Chicago, by the chair of the caucus.
So wait a minute. You're literally, aren't you the co-chair of the task force?
No, I was co-chair of Legislative Black Caucus. But
No, I'm sorry, but you were working with the Reparations task force, right?
I'm following the guidelines and the recommendations from the 1,100-page report, yes.
Right, so, but I'm saying you were part of that process.
Yes, I was, for 2 years.
They were aware that process was going on, right?
Yeah, for 2 years we had.
They were aware that bills came out of that 1,100-page report.
Yeah.
And so, first of all, when did you first put the bill together?
I introduced the bill. I did a gut and amend last year.
When last year?
I think like July.
Okay, so you mean to tell me, so from July 2023, the other members of the Black Caucus until August of 2024, they didn't say nothing about the bill until right before it's going to hit the floor to get passed?
They mentioned some concerns about the bill at the first part of this year, but again, in May, they all signed on as joint co-authors of the bill. And the language hasn't changed from the time.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Hold up. They signed on as joint co-authors of the bill in May. The language hasn't changed. And now all of a sudden in August, hold up, we got some issues.
Yeah, it's the same bill because I didn't take the amendments. I can understand if I had taken amendments, but I guess you're saying they weren't aware of the amendments. We weren't aware of the amendments till, like I say, after 5 o'clock on Monday of this final week. And once we had a chance to digest them and look at them as my staff would do, we sent them out the next day or the day after to every member of the Black Caucus. We sent those amendments out and showed where we had concerns with them.
So I'll go back to their statement. In its current form, one of the primary concerns with the bill is that it ceded legislative oversight authority, which is critical given the generational impact this legislation would have. What are they talking about?
Seeing that it would take away legislative insider input and deciding what reparations would be, or the task force, or having to. That's not the case because, again, this is the bill. It hasn't changed that they agreed to be co-authors on. So if it exceeded it today, it exceeded it then when they signed on to the bill. The language has not changed. The language has not changed. And we were true to that. I've been an honest broker for all 25 years of my elected official life, 14 in the legislature, and I don't hide the ball. And I show up every day and I do the work. And my bill had not changed. Again, I stood firm. I mean, for it to get out of appropriations, Assembly appropriations and Senate appropriations with no amendments on it, stated that it had a lot of support.
And then all of a sudden, they're claiming. So now they're saying, "Oh no, we're gonna make this happen in the next session." Really?
Well, I'll be gone, but
And you'll be gone because your term expires?
I'm termed out in December.
It has to be absolutely devastating, gutting. I mean, I don't want to, but it has to be really disappointing for you to be right there on the 1 yard line and having the votes lined up, and the Black Caucus back out at the last second because of the threat of a veto from the governor, which you never heard directly.
Yeah, this is probably the most heartbreaking disappointment experience in my time as a legislature. And again, you're taught early, don't fall in love with your bills. I didn't fall in love with this bill, but I fell in love with what this bill meant to not only Black Californians, but Black America. And I knew how important it was as a state and as a nation to get this across the finish line. We were there. And I'm proud of the work that we've done. I'm proud of the work as we did as a task force. And I'm proud of the work that I've been able to do with members of the Black Caucus. But yes, to say that I was deeply disappointed at this is probably the most, shocking, and, I don't even want to, it's been hard. It's been really hard because we were there. And I think we vetoed our own bill just because, and I understand, I want to work with the administration. And again, if the governor had, or his administrative staff had indicated that there was a veto in line, I would still say, let's work with this, but I still probably would have moved. There's no doubt I would have moved forward with my bill. And I want to be very clear, the governor's administrative staff, as well as he, has been very collaborative with the Black Caucus all this year since we've introduced our bills. And so, again, I was shocked when I was in Chicago to hear that there was problems with 1403.
And what jumps out the most here, again, is you had the votes lined up.
We did a vote card on all three of my reparations bills. My staff and I had coordinated, and we said we were going to take them all up on Wednesday of last week and have them all done that same day. We had a 50-plus count. Prime example was 1050. They still brought up 1050, SB 1050, that dealt with the racially motivated taking of property. It got off the floor with, I believe, over 55 votes. So it showed that we're in good stead. And I think 1403 and 1331 would have experienced the same fate as well.
Wow. That's, well, I would love to hear, and we're going to reach out to the head of the Black Caucus. We'd love to hear them explain why they decided to get scared by a possible threat of a veto. And again, you pass the bill. If he vetoes it, he vetoes it. And then you have the opportunity to override the veto, correct?
That's true. We have a supermajority in both houses. But again, and we're co-equal partners in government. So, I mean, we shouldn't no more acquiesce than the governor should acquiesce to us. We're co-equal partners. So we need to understand and appreciate our position as well, in this process. And, I was ready to move forward. I was totally committed to moving this package forward. It was a solid package. It was a package, again, that would have tremendous impact on California, but as a nation as well. I've been contacted by legislators all across the country who were following what we were doing, and they wanted to emulate and copy what we were doing, and was hoping that we get it done so they could do the same in their respective states. I mean, New York is setting up a task force similar to what we did here in California because of the work that we did in California. I think Oklahoma is looking to do the same as well.
All right, then. Representative Bradford, Senator Bradford, I'm sorry. We appreciate it. Thanks so very much.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks a bunch. Got to go to break. We come back. We'll chat with our panel about this. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered right here in the Black Star Network.
On a next, A Balanced Life with me, Dr. Jackie, we're going to be talking about common sense. We think that people have it, know how to use it, but it is something that people often have to learn. The truth is, most of us are not born with it, and we need to teach common sense, embrace it, and give it to those who need it most, our kids.
So I always tell teachers to listen out to what conversations the students are having about what they're getting from social media, and then let's get ahead of it and have the appropriate conversations with them.
On a next, A Balanced Life with me, Dr. Jackie, here at Black Star Network.
On the next Get Wealthy with me, Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, I'm sure you've seen all those commercials about reverse mortgage and how easy it is to get more money in your pocket. Well, this woman that you're going to hear from knew it was too good to be true, and because of it, she now has 7 figures in net worth.
Wait a minute. This house is really valuable, and further, you can get money out of it to help you, and more importantly, you can keep your home.
That's right here on Get Wealthy, only on Black Star Network.
Hey, what's up? It's Sammy Roman.
Hey, it's John Murray, the executive producer of the new Sherry Shepherd Talk Show.
It's me, Sherry Shepherd, and you know what you're watching, Roland Martin Unfiltered.
My pal, Dr. Mustafa Santiago Ali, former senior advisor for environmental justice at the EPA. Also, Dr. Julianne Malveaux, economist, president emerita, Bennett College, also author, joining us out of D.C. And of course, Joe Richardson, civil rights attorney out of L.A. Glad to have all three of you here. Julianne, what do you make of the, some would say, cowardice of the California Legislative Black Caucus for scuttling these bills at the last second when, according to Senator Bradford, he had the votes?
He had the votes. He's been working on this so long and so hard. I admire him so much. He's a friend, but I really admire the work that he's done and the persistence. And to take all that 1,100 pages and boil it down to, I think it's 14 pieces of legislation, and to get to that point, I mean, the Legislative Black Caucus is a bunch of wusses. Why would they withdraw the legislation? And I mean, you could tell Brother man had extreme composure. I think he probably wants to cry because he's worked so hard on this. And I'm not wanting to cry. I want to, what I want to do. But I'm pissed. I'm really livid that all this work has wound down. And they said, well, we'll get it at the next session. No, you won't. Don't lie. Because frankly, he's been the he spearheaded it. I don't know what the considerations are. Why they did it, but the way they did it was cowardly. It was non-collaborative. It was anti-African, if you will, because African people deal in collaboration. What it was is it was just a wuss move. And again, they need to explain. As Steve said, the governor, the ledge, they're equal partners. The governor can veto and they can override. So what is the fear here? I mean, are they Mr. Boat jangling because if something comes out of California, they think it might negatively affect the presidential race? Because, the crazy people lining up, they don't even want to hear the word reparations. So is that what they're afraid of? You cannot do fear, especially not in this context. So I'm just pretty disgusted, Roland. I had heard something on the radio before I came on, so I'm really glad that you had the senator on. But I'm at a loss to explain why the Legislative Black Caucus whipped the votes would make such a wuss move.
Joe, again, what's confusing to me is if you hear the governor may veto the bill, let him. And guess what? If you can't override the veto in this session, what do? You reintroduce it next session. You don't pull the bill scared today and then go, oh no, it's a priority, and we're gonna introduce it next session when you were on the 1 yard line. That to me is nuts.
Yeah, that's a problem, and I certainly feel bad for all of us, and for Senator Bradford, who I've gotten to know a bit, and saw at DNC and CBC. I see a little political calculation by the governor. Actually, that's what I see. If you add this along with, obviously, there's a message that's getting there somewhere. I think it's distant enough from Kamala Harris where I don't think it necessarily affects her. So I don't think that that's the calculus, and I don't think that it becomes a discussion about anything other than California being liberal. We already know that California is liberal. But if you add the governor's somehow sending some indication that there are some problems with the bill, which I think is what happened, and add what he did with homeless encampments recently, saying that based on the Supreme Court's recent decision, now, the cities actually have the leeway to use the massive resources we've given them to clear out homeless camps, as if it was that simple. And it's not that simple. I think, respectfully, it's being oversimplified. That maybe it's something that the governor is doing for the future. Everybody knows he wants to be president. I'm not saying that he's not supporting Kamala Harris. However, it seems like to me that towards the end of his term, what he's going to be doing, what he seems to be trying to do, is setting up some things that are a little bit more moderate, a little bit more tough on homelessness, tough on fill in the blank, so that at least the buck could be passed. I had the money. I gave the money to the agencies, to the local cities, and it was up to them to do X or Y or Z, so it's not me. So I wonder if there's this larger narrative related to it. But yeah, they should have presented it. Put it up, let the governor veto it, and then whatever happens, happens. You've done that before. It's terrible that there's discussions about it this late, because the budget problem, if there is one, has been one for a while. None of this stuff is new. And so something in the milk's not white for it to come up the way that it did and how late it did. And
here's the deal, Mustafa. The governor doesn't even have to come out and actually say, I'll veto it. The California Legislative Black Caucus did it for him, gave him cover, and I'm just trying to understand, who do they represent?
That's definitely a question that they're going to have to answer, because I keep it real with folks. My thing is, if you want my vote, then you have to earn my vote. And that means that I share my priorities with you, and you're supposed to do everything in your power to make those become a reality, especially when you have everything lined up. There's so much to unpack here. You know, I worked on Capitol Hill. I worked on H.R. 40, so I know all of the people have been working for decades upon decades upon decades to make sure that reparations became a reality. To be this close and not to push across, allow him. If he doesn't want to sign it, allow him not to sign it, and then he carries the weight for that. So it's just so strange. And when we talk about budgets, I actually handled appropriations when I was working on Capitol Hill. It was one of the responsibilities I had. We find the money for the things that we prioritize. John Conyers talked to me night after night after night about that, and he drilled it in me. If somebody really cares about something, if they want to see it become a reality, they will find the resources to make sure that it is signed and that it becomes, you know, reality for folks. So some of the stuff that folks are sharing, you know, people continue to insult our intelligence. We understand that if there is a problem, you let people know that way ahead of time so that they can work it out. That's what legislators do. If there's a challenge, if there's not the resources are there, people find a place where they can get those resources from. And if there's something in the language that is a significant problem, then you find a way to come together through collaboration, as Julianne shared, to make that become a reality. So this is a bunch of smoke and mirrors that's going on right now. They know how incredibly important reparations are. There are lots of folks who are talking about it, trying to figure out how to make it become a reality, how to make sure that after all of these years that Black folks in America can finally begin to breathe again, can finally make sure that, you know, everything that was stripped away from us, that we can start to repair that so that we can start to heal. And what this does, let me be very clear with folks, this continues to just rip open the wound once again and takes us further and further away from healing. So shout out to all those brothers and sisters who have been doing it for decades trying to make this become a reality. Shame on legislators who are not willing to stand up and push and make those folks who say, if the governor doesn't want to sign it, let the governor carry the water on that.
Indeed, indeed. All right, folks, hold tight 1 second. We come back. So all these people over the weekend were posted talking about Ice Cube as if he did a new video. He didn't, but I want to play it and I want to unpack it. So I'm going to do that. Also, we're going to talk about why are these white conservatives losing their mind talking about the Vice President Kamala Harris is code switching and now has a Southern accent. Didn't I tell y'all in my book, White Fear, how the browning of America is making white folks lose their minds? They are losing their minds over Vice President Kamala Harris. We're going to unpack all of that right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. The goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing on average $50 each. That's $4.19 a month, 13 cents a day. And so you can, of course, support us. You give less, we appreciate that. You give more, we appreciate that. So, again, check your money order, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 20037-0196. Cash App, $RM Unfiltered. PayPal, R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. We'll be right back.
Next on The Black Table with me, Greg Carr. We featured the brand new work of Professor Angie Porter, which, simply put, is a revolutionary reframing of the African experience in this country. It's the one legal article everyone, and I mean everyone, should read. Professor Porter and Dr. Valencia Watkins, our legal roundtable team, join us to explore the paper that I guarantee is going to prompt a major aha moment in our culture.
You crystallize it by saying, who are we to other people? Who are African people to others? Governance is our thing. Who are we to each other? The structures we create for ourselves, how we order the universe as African people.
That's next on The Black Table, here on the Black Star Network.
Hey, what's up? Geek Tony in the place to be. Got Kicked Out Your Mama's University, creator and executive producer of Fat Tuesdays, an air hip-hop comedy. But right now, I'm rolling with Roland Martin, unfiltered, uncut, unplugged, and undamn believable. You hear me?
All All right, folks, over the weekend, I wasn't spending lots of time on social media. My sister's funeral was on Saturday in Houston, and we had a beautiful homegoing service for Kenya Martin Williams. And so Monday, I was looking at a couple of things, and then spent lots of time with family. And so folks kept talking about this Ice Cube video, and people kept saying that Ice Cube was telling people not to vote. So I said, okay, tell my team, pull a video so I can understand what the hell folks are talking about. The first thing is this here. This is not a new video. Earlier today, his son, O'Shea Jackson Jr., posted a tweet where he said, why y'all going off about a 4-year-old video? I'm trying to find his tweet so I can show it to you. And I was just, here it is right here. He says, here I'm thinking my dad says something new, and y'all are talking about a video from 4 years ago. Why does Ice Cube only come around during election years? You're looking at a video from 4 years ago. I can't believe this. I'm tweeting about Raw, and then I'm out. So then I said, I'll be addressing the video tonight. Then O'Shea goes, you'll be addressing a video from 4 years ago tonight? Good Lord, SMH. Yes, I am O'Shea Jackson Jr. So allow me to explain after we play the video. Roll it.
Yo, what's up? This your homie Ice Cube. Here to talk to my black folks. You know, I just want to be straight up because there's a lot of messages going out about this election. First and foremost, anybody telling you that you gotta vote, that it's your duty, that you have to exercise the right, and that people died for you to vote. For one, people did die, but nobody walked out their house to go die for you to vote. They were killed by probably some racists that don't want to see us get anything. But I'm saying that to say this. Be skeptical of anybody telling you to vote and not telling you to ask for anything, or to tell you to just vote and not to get anything for your vote. That's not how it works. That's not the process. You don't vote just to vote. You vote because you're getting something, or your community is getting something. So everybody that's telling you that, man, look at them and say, what are you getting? Because people that just want you to vote and not ask for nothing, people that's in power that want you to vote but don't want you to get anything, or not asking for you to get anything economically, they suspect, straight up. Because a lot of people been in place for a long time and we ain't got shit. That shit gonna end. That shit gonna end. We gonna get what we supposed to get. Period. And anybody asking you not to ask, I wouldn't listen to them. Because that's the process. Every community asks for what they want. And we gonna do the same goddamn thing.
So there were a lot of people who were saying that Ice Cube told people not to vote. One, that's not true. You heard the video yourself. He didn't actually say, do not vote. So that was just fundamentally flawed. When he said that no one was killed just walking out of their house to vote, actually Ice Cube is wrong. In fact, go to my iPad. He's right that there were racist white folks who did kill people, but Harry T. and Harriet Moore, two NAACP activists, their home was bombed in Florida in 1951 by KKK members. There is now a memorial to them where their home stood in Sanford, Florida. I actually visited the memorial. I'll find the videos on my phone. I actually visited that location after reading a book, and it talked about them, and I was obviously blown away when I did. So the reality is, I mean, Jimmy Lee Jackson was killed in a night march in Selma that dealt with the issue of getting the right to vote. So people have been killed. Present day, there have been black activists who have been harassed. We had the sister from Tennessee on who was facing prison, actually went to jail, was facing time because they said she registered illegally. You got Crystal Mason down in Texas who's still being harassed more than 7 years later by Tarrant County DA. And so those things do happen. But this is where I think people are also wrong in terms of their criticism of Ice Cube. The reality is politics is about making demands of an elected official and then pushing them to actually make it happen once they win. So when he says that, well, we've had people that bunch a long time and our community ain't got jack. Well, first of all, that's also wrong. It's just fundamentally wrong. Now, you could say we haven't gotten enough, which then means you have to then mobilize and organize to get it. Now, I'll tell y'all, I told Ice Cube personally 4 years ago when he had his contract with Black America, I said, bruh, they're not gonna meet with you just because you're Ice Cube. I said, you just can't go, well, I'm Ice Cube, y'all meet with me. I said, you need to build a coalition. You need to have individuals, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people, 100,000 people who you've registered to vote. So now all of a sudden, when you come to the table, you've now got folk behind you, and it's not just you. I said that to him. When Diddy did that interview with the model Naomi Campbell, and he was like, we're gonna withhold our vote. I told Diddy the same thing. I said, just because you Diddy, you just don't jump out here and say, I said, no, you have to actually build something. So when you come to the table and you say, 50,000 people have signed up on my website, I'm communicating with, politicians respond because that's votes. That's numbers. So I said it directly to Diddy and Ice Cube. So when Ice Cube talks about how we must be making demands, we should. I forgot to bring it in, but Randall Robinson, in his book, The Debt, talked about a conversation with Maynard Jackson, who was the mayor of Atlanta. And they talked about establishing essentially a black agenda, putting it on a card that every black person could place in their wallet. And then when a politician came to a church or community center or wherever, black folks could pull that card out. Where do you stand on this? 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 And make determinations. So, for all the people who were like, oh my God, he's wrong. Guys, what he said is what I've been saying on this show. And what I've been saying on this show is, yes, you should be making demands. The problem is when folks say, well, if you can't give it to me now, I'm not voting. A person can't give you anything until they actually are in power. And then once they're in power, you then have to also look at what's the condition. So if you voted for one person for the school board and they got 9 members of the school board and 8 folk vote against, you can't get what you want just because you voted for that one person. You got to sit here and say, now, how do we mobilize and organize to get the other 4 folk elected so we can have a majority of the 5? City council. If you got 12 people in city council, you're going to need 7 votes. So you can't just vote for your city council member, ain't gonna do it. So right now, the Harris campaign announced $35 million they're gonna be giving to House Democrats and the Senate. Why? Because it's not as if she wins, she needs Democrats in control of the United States Senate in order for her to appoint federal judges, to get bills through. She needs Democrats in control of the House, otherwise Republicans are stopping her agenda. That's collective politics. And so people need to understand, and I think people need to back off this whole deal. Man, keep full of shit. No, what he's saying, he's actually right. What I have been arguing for years is that one of the greatest problems that we have in our community is we spend massive amounts of time and energy motivating, calling, organizing for folks for November 5th. Man, we focus on souls to the polls. We're focused on early voting. We're focused on election day. Then November 6th, we go, oh, Lord, I'm tired. We're ecstatic if our candidate won. Then we're disappointed if they lost. But here's the problem. November 6th should be a rest day. November 7th, you go back to work. Because when the election is over, and y'all have heard me say this, the election is the end of one process, it's the beginning of another. Which means that if Vice President Kamala Harris and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz prevail in November, they now have a transition period. While they are working on the transition period, we should be working on what are going to be our priorities. I told y'all in the first 90 days when Obama was president, the LGBT community presented him with a 54-page agenda. Black organizations did not, as a collective, come together until Obama was elected in his second term. It was 5 years later. Some of y'all may say, yeah, it was at the hotel across the street. I was there at the Capitol Hilton. And I sat there and I was like, it took 5 years. Then it took them 9 months to put the paperwork together to present the agenda. We were literally almost 6 years in. Hell, he only had 2 left. So, what should be happening right now? Even with a 4-year-old video. So I'll say this to Ice Cube, O'Shea Jackson Sr., and his son, O'Shea Jackson Jr. As opposed to you, Ice Cube, being upset because people criticize you for meeting with, you didn't meet with Trump. You met with Jared and some other folk at a hotel, not at the White House. As opposed to being mad about that, build your coalition. Build it. You have people going to your website signing up for the Black Agenda. Okay, Ice Cube, how many people signed up? Build that list. And so now, if Vice President wins, you now can come to the table with an army of folks behind you. But I'm not just talking also to Ice Cube. I'm talking to every single person who's listening or who's talking. The question for you is, what y'all doing? How are you mobilizing and organizing in Charlotte, in Houston, in Jackson, Mississippi, in Tallahassee? How are you mobilizing in Arizona, Nevada, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, North Carolina, urban, rural? How are you mobilizing? How are you aligning with other people to be able to then get what it is that you need? Not just from the vice president, because let me be real clear. Vice President Harris, if she becomes president, all she can do is propose ideas. Anything dealing with money, per the Constitution, has to start in the House. Then it moves to the Senate. And then if the House passes a bill that's separate from the Senate bill, then they got to go to committee to then sort it all out. And then once they got to go to committee, they got to vote it again on the compromise in the House, then in the Senate. Then if it gets passed, it goes to the president to sign. That's schoolhouse rock. That's basic. But the issues that you might care about are not solely on the federal level. We just talked about a California Legislative Black Caucus and Senator Steven Bradford's various reparations. That's a state issue. All these people saying, this is going to come back on Kamala Harris. No, it's not. Vice President Kamala Harris ain't got jack to do with those bills in California. Y'all should be dealing with the Black Caucus of California. So then, maybe it's not the state level. Maybe what you care about is impacted by the county, by the city, by the DA, by the water district, by the school board. That means that you have got to be mobilized and organized and pushing those folks, which means folk watching and listening. And again, if you heard what Q was talking about, you can't be sitting on your ass and going, well, I voted, did my job. I've been a city hall reporter. I've been a county government reporter. I went to the state capitol with my mama when she was one of the 3 citywide co-chairs for the Metropolitan Organization in Houston, an interfaith organization. I remember being on the bus with her early in the damn morning on the weekend, traveling to Austin for rallies. That's mobilization, organization, trying to advance your issue. So here's what I desire. I desire for us to stop being emotional on social media. What I want us to begin to be far more strategic. I want us to say, what are the things that I care about? And then go, okay, so if I care about that issue, how is the person running for president, U.S. Senator, member of Congress, governor, state rep, state senator, city council, county government, school board, where do they fall when it comes to that issue? That's now where I have to turn my attention. So if I care about charter schools and school choice, I then got to say, okay, is this a state issue or do I have to deal with the local school district? I now have to know how do I marshal my forces and pointing there. Let me give you one last point before I go to my panel. And that is this here. If you are talking about mobilizing and organizing, you got to collect data. I can't stand marches and protests where you don't know who the hell shows up. Folk coming with signs and marching and preaching and yelling. Who are you? If you're not collecting addresses and phone numbers and emails, social media accounts, how then can I reach you when I need you when the march is over to come back to go to the city council chamber or the county government chamber or the state legislature or the Congress? So again, let's stop sitting here acting a fool, going crazy, oh my God, cue this, cue that, and step back and go, okay, what did he say? And now, how do we now, when the election is over, first of all, make demands of an elected official while they are running, and then if they win, then hold them accountable to what they promised they were going to do if they won, and then if they then don't do that, then you oppose them when the next election comes around. That's where we must be. And there are people out there doing that. I grew up with 2 of those people. My parents, Dad's 77, Mom's 76, she'll be 77 in November. I've seen it up close and personal, literally in the house. So what I am describing to you is not a theoretical exercise. I'm literally describing to you what I personally witnessed and what I have done as somebody testifying before the Houston City Council. I think I was in the 10th grade. As somebody testifying at school board meetings. These things work. But these things only work if you do the work. And they don't work if you stay at home and yell and complain about what we ain't got, how ain't nothing changed, and you can't even actually name who your city council member is. And you can't even name who your state representative is and who your state senator is. and who you're a member of Congress. I have actually run into black people in multiple states, and they can't even tell me who their United States senator is, and every state has two. You got to get in the game if you want to win the game. Mustafa?
No, you know, I appreciate Q, you know, highlighting the fact that our vote is powerful, you know, and I'm sort of paraphrasing from his words, and that it is valuable, and that we have to make sure that if somebody is going to receive it, that there is accountability for their actions, and hopefully they are positive actions. And of course, if they're not living up to it, then we find somebody else. And I appreciate you highlighting the fact, Roland, also, that if we find that there are candidates that are not living up to it, if we have actually built organizations and movements, then we can move them out, and we can make sure that we have somebody in who's going to actually live up to that. And again, it goes back, you know, I come out of the environmental justice movement. For 40 years, we were pushing and strategizing and mobilizing to be able to get the resources that were necessary to begin the long journey of addressing, you know, the challenges that have been inside of our communities. And now, in this time right now, in this particular administration, instead of having a couple $1 million for work around the country, we now have billions upon billions of dollars. And we've got to make sure that those become actualized. But it is because of all of the incredible work that leaders had done over the years, and not only identifying what the problems were, but also identifying how we get the solutions done, who are the people we need to have in office. And then the other part of it is also utilizing your power when the transitions happen to make sure that you have the right individuals who are running, you know, housing and urban development and transportation and EPA and all these other agencies and departments on the federal level and then on the state level. And that is because you understand the game, and you also understand how to pull those levers of power, because you have educated your folks, and your folks are clear on where you're trying to go and what your priorities are.
See, the thing that I think is crucial here, Julian, when we talk about celebrities and commenting on issues, they also got to do some work.
That part.
You're not going to get anybody to meet with you just because you come up with a black agenda, as if black people have never come up with agendas before. Numerous black organizations actually have black agendas. I can walk you through 30 of them. And what do? They meet with elected officials about that agenda. They talk to folks about that agenda. That's what they do. And so that's also what is required, but you actually have to put in the work. And again, I literally told Ice Cube this. And here's the other deal. When Ice Cube was on my show with Alicia Garza, I connected them on a text message. To my knowledge, never got together. So here you had a sister who's an organizer, who's working with Black Futures Lab, and I'm like, yo, cross-pollinate, but if you don't do it, nothing's gonna happen. That's something that also has to happen. You can't have black folks trying to work in silos and not work with other black folks about an agenda.
Well, there you have it. One of the things that's disappointing, Ice Cube didn't say anything wrong per se. You're right, people did get killed, not only walking out of their house, people were lynched because they voted. An NAACP organizer was lynched in Alabama because he dared organize people to vote. A man was killed in Florida because he voted. So, you know, his passion, to me, is misplaced. But I hear a lot of younger people say they don't want to hear that somebody died for their right to vote. They just don't want to hear it. It's old stuff. It's not old stuff. It's real. Not only that, right now, here today, people are organizing to prevent people from voting. If the black vote was not dangerous, why are they working so hard to prevent us from voting? But voting is not the most you can do. It's literally the least you can do. So when I listened to Ice Cube, what I thought was, this brother is just mouthing off. And now you confirm my impression by suggesting that he didn't have the opportunity to get together with Alicia Garza, who I would have been happy to get with him. What I would want to know from Ice Cube is, so what are you doing? What are you doing to get out the vote? Who are you working with? Are you at least going to some of the community center and asking young brothers and sisters to vote? Are you just running your mouth? Because basically, where I'm concerned, all that brother was doing was running his mouth. And he wasn't running it for good. I could see why people reading between the lines would say that either he was Trumpy or that he was telling people not to vote. That's not what he said. But there are a lot of people who are haters. The biggest challenge we have to deal with, Roland, is to make sure in our community, our Black community, that we're not constantly mouthing off, but that we actually put the mouthing off, connect the mouthing off to action, to some form of action. So I've been in this game for a long time. I'll be 71 in 3 weeks. So, you know, I was activist from registering people to vote when I was like 8. We had a guy in our community who ran for sheriff, and he put together this, he lost, he was a brother, one of the first Black men to run, but he had these little booklets that said, here's my opponent's record. Then you open it up as blank paper. It was really funny. And we had to use that blank paper for scrap paper for months because we didn't give out enough of those little booklets. But, you know, I've been in this game a long time. There are a lot of people who have agendas, and there are a lot of people who have mal-agendas. What do I mean by mal-agendas? You ain't doing nothing, you just talking.
Got it.
Mal-agendas. So, you know, Ice Cube needs to clean, he needs an intervention. But the thing was 4 years ago, so, you know, let's not trip it so hard with other Black people.
Got it.
Give them some grace.
Joe?
You know, you plant a seed and you get a harvest. So, you know, I don't want to bang on Cube either. You know, the point itself is fine. And simple can be good, but don't sacrifice simple and exchange it for research and information. So in other words, it would be very easy for him or somebody like him to understand that people have died for the right to vote. People have died living in their houses. People have been bombed in, you know, in churches or whatever else. There's plenty of that that's gone on, for sure. And, you know, the way that I think you want to come at it is you want to come at it in a way where it doesn't look like you're without research. It doesn't look like you're without finding out what it is that you can. He has a great opportunity, him and people like him. It's a great opportunity to inform people of the possibilities surrounding voting, surrounding political involvement. And my sense is there's a few things that he could pick up and learn himself, frankly, for all of the success that he's had in other areas and for all of the opinions that he had. He's been a guy that's really moved the bar and spoken very loudly for us about some very important issues going back 30, 35 years. But for as long as he's been in the game, the political strategy doesn't seem to be there. So to that point, I think the next thing that can happen, if he wants it to, him and people like him who have resources, who have an audience where people will listen to them, is to be strategic about that, putting that together, and taking that goodwill and taking that information and those people and those lists and those emails and those involvements and turning it actually into something in a way that actually grows and supports our community.
And listen, I just want people to also have right information. Over the weekend, I was very critical of Tyrese, who did a video with Attorney Ben Crump, and he was talking about how Asians got a hate crime bill, and they skipped President Biden, Vice President Harris skipped over Black people, and I was like, okay, that's a lie. And I literally walked through the people that again, all these other media people like, well, the Asian hate crime, no, that's not even what it was called. It was COVID-19, and the bill applied to all hate crimes. Then you got all the Black people who run around here like, well, we ain't got a bill specifically for us. Well, there's no such thing as a bill specifically for African Americans. It doesn't include other people. Well, we ain't never had an anti-hate crime. Yes, we have. There actually have been 4. So you could actually say the Civil Rights Act of '64. You could also say the Civil Rights Act of 1968. You also had, when Bill Clinton was president, a bill specifically dealt with the burning of Black churches. If you read the summary, I did a whole video on that on this show previously and broke that whole thing down. Then, of course, you also had the Matthew Shepard, James Byrd Hate Crime Act. Then, of course, you also had the anti-lynching bill that was signed by President Biden. All of those bills are used present day to file hate crimes charges. I had somebody go, well, these bills ain't never been used. You're a lie. We've covered the people who've actually gone to prison on the Biden-Harris tenure by this Department of Justice for hate crimes. And so it's like, stop it, y'all. Just stop it. And so what I say to any celebrity, don't run out here running your mouth and you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Call somebody, do some actual research, and that goes for a whole bunch of people out there as well. because we spend a lot of time wasting time cleaning up folks' lies as opposed to dealing with the truth. In fact, we're going to go to a break. We're going to talk about Project 2025. We come back. I'm going to also show you this black MAGA woman who went on C-SPAN and just straight ass lied repeatedly about Vice President Kamala Harris. This fool even said the moment she became president, she stopped even associating with AKAs. Are you that dumb? Yeah, she is. I want to deal with all that when we come back. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
Hatred on the streets, a horrific scene, a white nationalist rally that descended into deadly violence.
White people are losing their damn minds.
As an angry pro-Trump mob storms the U.S. Capitol, we've seen shooting.
We're about to see the rise of what I call white minority resistance. We have seen white folks in this country who simply cannot tolerate black folks voting.
I think what we're seeing is the inevitable result of violent denial.
This is part of American history. Every time that people of color have made progress, whether real or symbolic, there has been what Carol Anderson at Emory University calls white rage as a backlash.
This is the rise of the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys. America, there's going to be more of this.
Here's all the Proud Boys, guys.
This country is getting increasingly racist in its behaviors and its attitudes because of the fear of white people.
The fear that they're taking our jobs, they're taking our resources, they're taking our women. This is white fear.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Devon Frank.
I'm Dr. Robin B., pharmacist and fitness coach, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, folks, we keep telling you about Project 2025 for months, and the Harris Walls campaign recently released a new ad that explains Trump's plans if he returns to the White House.
Donald Trump's back, and he's out for control.
I would have every right to go after them.
Complete control.
I will wield that power very aggressively.
And he has a plan to get it.
Detailed plans for exactly what our movement will do.
It's called Project 2025, a 922-page blueprint to make Donald Trump the most powerful president ever. Overhauling the Department of Justice, giving Trump the unchecked power to seek vengeance, eliminating the Department of Education, and defunding K-12 schools, requiring the government to monitor women's pregnancies, and severe cuts to Medicare and Social Security. Donald Trump may try to deny it, but those are Donald Trump's plans.
Well, revenge does take time, I will say that. And sometimes revenge can be justified.
He'll take control. We'll pay the price.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Scott Perriman is President and CEO of Democracy Foward. She joins us from D.C. Scott, glad to have you here. Walk us through the analysis that y'all have done in terms of how Project 2025 will impact African Americans.
Well, look, Project 2025 would be the end of lots of life as we know it in America, reversals of many of the hard-fought progress and gains that we've made on civil rights, on economic justice over the years, but also really an acceleration of taking us back to, really taking us not just reversals of progress, but really back to times where you can't rely on services, where you're not paid fairly, a fair wage. And we'll walk through that in detail. But that's really what we've been looking at. And it presents such a threat to life in America, the threat for African American and Black communities across the country. That was really one of the impetuses for us at Democracy Foward, creating a people's guide to Project 2025, which all of your listeners and viewers can get on democracyforward.org. It's a free resource. It walks through what those 900 pages mean to ordinary Americans, to people that are trying to make ends meet, that are, seeking to thrive, to support their families and communities. And it's a really devastating program. And so the People's Guide is really what we've been focused on, just translating all of this 900 pages into, a real understanding of this blueprint to remake America.
And so when we talk about 2025, this particular plan, one of the things that jumps out, this whole notion of anti-white racism and how they're going to target a number of programs and really emphasize the racism that's against white people in America.
Absolutely. This is the biggest gaslight, racist gaslight that we've seen, where they want to weaponize the departments, our federal agencies, and the offices of civil rights in those departments, which of course are offices that were created in order to make sure that the government was serving all people, including people like Black Americans who have for too long been left out, treated unfairly. That's why we have offices of civil rights, to make sure the government's serving all people. And they want to weaponize those to rewrite history, erase our history, forget the challenges of our presence, and really seek to enshrine a white supremacist, nationalist agenda on all Americans.
What else does it say? One of the things that jumps out for me is, again, how they want to force federal workers to subscribe to a MAGA code of ethics or loyalty oath. And there's a lot of Black people, we over-index among federal employees.
Absolutely. This is a critical piece, and it's critical not just for the jobs that are affected, which you point out, of our civil servants and our federal employees. It's also critical for all of us that rely on the services that our government provides. So they want to reimpose Schedule F, which was a former Trump administration proposal to purge elements of the civil service, take civilian workers out of their career jobs, and replace them with partisan or ideological loyalists. That definitely threatens the well-being and the jobs of many civil servants who work across the country, by the way. I'm based in Washington, D.C., but civil servants work in all states in the country and in communities throughout the country. But it also really compromises all of us as American people, even if we're not federal workers, because we all rely on our civil service to keep our water safe, to keep our medicine safe, to protect our borders, to do the work of the American people, and they're seeking to compromise that with a political agenda. Another thing that really stands out is the attacks on public education and on education in this country, which we know is a front line in both the battle for democracy, but also the battle for racial equity and justice for everyone. They want to dismantle the Department of Education. They want to privatize our public schools, and they want to do the same thing where they weaponize our schools against the very children that they're meant to serve by seeking to rewrite history, imposing curriculum that is not accurate, trying to write out of our books, to ban certain concepts, which are really, really troubling and problematic.
All right, then. And again, where can people go to read what y'all put together?
Go to democracyforward.org, download the People's Guide to Project 2025. You can pick whatever issue you're interested in and read about it. And remember, we can push back against this. The majority of Americans do not support this extreme agenda. There's no mandate for it. And we're working every day to push back. Your viewers can sign up at democracyforward.org for updates and can take their People's Guide and be equipped with what they need to be able to be informed in this time.
All right, then. I appreciate it, Scott. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me.
All right, folks, let's talk about these deranged white MAGA people. Have y'all seen what their latest thing is now? Ooh, Vice President Kamala Harris. She's code switching. Have y'all seen this? So let's play the video of her speaking first. Do we have that? Do y'all have that queued up? Okay, so let's play that first. This is what they're complaining about, y'all. Watch this.
You better thank a union member for the 5-day work week. You better thank a union member for for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time.
Okay. So then they said, ooh, look at this video. She's talking different.
Thank unions for sick leave. Thank unions for paid family leave. Thank unions for your vacation time.
Okay. This is how dumb it is. Oh, this has been a big thing on Fox News and conservative media. This is the idiot, Peter Doocy, today, literally, y'all, in the White House briefing. Watch.
Since when does the Vice President have what sounds like a Southern accent?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well,
I mean, this is...
She was talking about unions in Detroit using one tone of voice.
Is this something that you think...
Same line...
Okay, Peter,
that she used the same line in Pittsburgh, and it sounded like she at least had some kind of a Southern drawl.
I mean, do you hear the question that you're... I mean, do you think Americans seriously think that this is an important question? They care... You know what they care about? They care about the economy. They care about lowering costs. They care about health care. That's what Americans care about.
So
that's what they want to hear.
This is something...
They care about. Your colleague just asked me about what basically we talked about, went back and forth about democracy and freedom. That's what they care about. I'm not even going to entertain some question about the president. It's just hearing it sounds so ridiculous.
Well, but hearing it is...
The question I'm talking about. The question is just insane.
Is that how she talks in meetings here?
I'm just... Peter, we're moving on. We're so moving on. Go ahead, Anita.
That's what she should have said at the beginning. Matter of fact, she should have said, like the Vice President did in her Dana Bash interview, I don't deal with silly. Next question. That's how you shut it down. Or you do what Senator John McCain did a few years ago.
Your relationship with the president frayed to the point that you are not going to support anything that he comes to you and asks for?
Why would you say something that stupid? Why would you ask something that dumb? Huh? My job as a United States Senator is a senator from Arizona, which I was just reelected to. You mean that I am somehow going to behave in a way that I'm going to block everything because of some personal disagreement? That's a dumb question.
That, to me, Joe, is exactly how they should respond. This is utterly stupid. And to black people, y'all ain't got to defend it. She wasn't code switching. I'm a speaker. And when you are speaking to people, there's a thing, get the first video ready. There's a thing called call and response that black people are kind of familiar with. And guess what? White conservatives like at Fox News, she was going to Amos Brown Church in San Francisco. I know it's San Francisco, but there's a cadence in black churches that actually travels around the country. I can be at Abyssinia in Harlem, and then I can go to Jamaica, Queens, and then I can go over to Boston, and then I can go down the Eastern Corridor, then I can go to the Southwest, I can hit Louisiana, Arkansas, Texas, I can go find me a black church in Arizona, and I'm gonna find somebody who understands that when you are in that moment, and you get a crowd response, folk are going to respond a certain way in that very moment. And when you are a speaker, then you understand how to speak to folk in that particular moment. That's what she was doing. So it wasn't, oh my God, see, here's what they're trying to do. They did the exact same thing to Hillary Clinton. Oh, Hillary Clinton went down to Selma, and all of a sudden, she started talking like a Baptist preacher. That woman spent how many years in Arkansas? She heard a whole bunch of damn black preachers, and she heard some white preachers talk like black folks. Roll the video again of the Vice President. Y'all, listen to the call and response of the audience.
You better thank a union member for the 5 for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time.
I rest my case, Julian.
I'm just laughing because, like you said, these white folks have lost their total minds if they had any to start with. It just makes no sense to me. First of all, she doesn't sound Southern. As you say, it's call and response. It's also a rhetorical tool that we all use when we're speaking. It's a rhetorical tool to make the point, to make the point again, to make the point again. These same fools talked about her having a hot sauce in her pocketbook, which, by the way, I have 3 bottles of hot sauce in 3 of my favorite pocketbooks because I do not want to risk going someplace where they don't have any hot sauce. And Hillary did it too, and a lot of people, not just from the South, who like spicy food, and you don't have to be black to like spicy food, do that. These people are nitpicking because they have nothing substantive to say.
Nothing.
So you're right. Karine should have just shut the stuff down from the first place, but she did not want to do that. But if this is all they got, bring it. But the fact is that they're going to wallow in the silly, and in another context, they're going to actually attempt to put some policy stuff out there. And we need to just be working and ready to make sure that there is no reasonable doubt that Kamala Harris has won this election. In other words, I don't want Georgia to win by 11,000 votes. I want it to win by 50,000 votes. And just go down the list. Y'all let's not get caught up in the BS. Let's get our work done.
And that's all this is, Mustafa. They can't, again, what they want to do is they want to racialize the election. And so they want her responding to BS like that. That's just like what she said, Dana Bash, same old playbook. Next question.
It's all about diversions and creating these chaotic situations and trying to pull people apart because they've seen that the Harris-Walz campaign has a lot of traction, continues to grow and grow and grow, continues to the numbers to increase in the polls. And, they don't have a candidate right now that has policy that the majority of Americans resonate with. So they do these types of games to try and just chip away, or they'll do these games to try and get folks to fight against each other. And when you hear and you see the Harris-Walz campaign that is focused on positivity, it's focused on hope, it's focused on joy, and it's also focused on policy and accountability. And the other side just has a very difficult time because they thought they were going to be running against a different candidate. They had a playbook for that. They had to throw it out the window, and they haven't had time to build anything else. So they go to these old tropes, and that's what they try and utilize to stay in the cycle, in the news cycle, because they know that when you see the campaign that happened in Detroit, how many people were excited about it, how many people were connected with it, and then you go over to Pittsburgh. Let me clarify, Pittsburgh is not the South, Pennsylvania is not the South, but that doesn't even matter. That you have white folks and black folks and Latino folks and Asian folks and the LGBTQ community, everybody is coming together, and Republicans are also coming together to support the Harris-Walz campaign at this particular time. They don't know what to do with that. So they have to try and do these types of things to even remotely stay relevant in the news cycle. And we all know, and, I don't think I'm speaking out of turn, that is what, what was his name again? Trump used to live for, is the news cycle and being what everybody is talking about. So since they don't have anything of substance in this particular moment, these are the types of things they do.
Oh, it's just nonsense. And again, they want folks to get caught up in the stuff. It's like, nah, not going to happen. I'm telling you. And Karine shouldn't even. Karine should literally go. When he asks the question, this is what I would do. What's your question? I would look at his ass and just go, what's your question? I ain't even addressing that bullshit. I mean, and that's all this is. And so this is what they play. But I need our people to also understand, we talk about when these folks lie. Over the weekend, Reese was on Washington Journal on C-SPAN. Reese Colbert, and she was just knocking down, did a great job knocking down these folks' lies. So while she was on, y'all, they played this interview when this other black child, I think her name, what's her name, Michaela Montgomery? That her name? Okay. So she was the one who was with Trump at the Chick-fil-A in Atlanta. She's also the same one. She went on an Atlanta radio station lying about Trump, HBCUs, and all kind of stuff. And then I called out on Instagram. She was like, yeah, when you went off on me on my show, my parents didn't like it. Well, guess what? Your parents not about to like what I'm about to do to you right now. Now, we invited her on the show, but she ain't responded. Now, she was talking big on Instagram, talking about how she wanted to come on. My producer reached out. She ain't hit us back. But I saw this. So this was like a month ago on Washington Journal. And if y'all want to hear an onslaught of lies in just 2 minutes and 31 seconds, listen to this nonsense. And I'm going to stop it and we're going to play it. But this is just sheer lunacy. Press play.
A few days before that, he spoke to the National Association of Black Journalists, and he talked about Vice President Harris's racial identity, that she had become black. A lot of critics said that that hurt him with black voters. What was your reaction?
I don't know why it would hurt him with black voters, because it seems like black voters are offended by everything except the conditions in which their reality is set. So while we might be offended that a rich white man is questioning the nationality of a quote-unquote black woman, that black woman does not claim to be black outside of campaign season. So we saw her be black as she was vying to be VP. The hot sauce on the pork chops, the marching with the band, all of a sudden she's paying attention to her AKA sorority sisters. But then once sworn in office, you didn't see the acknowledgement of her sorority or her HBCU. She didn't wear pink, she didn't wear green, she didn't wear anything HU. She also did not acknowledge the black community.
Oh, freeze right there. You know what? Well, I need some Vaseline. I need some Vaseline right now. This is the moment where you put some Vaseline and then you just put it on your, like when you get ready to run. Matter of fact, I could do battle right now without any Vaseline, because y'all just heard a straight up liar. Michaela Montgomery, you are I see why you support Donald Trump, because both of y'all are some lying ass people. Y'all just heard her say, when she became president, she didn't wear pink and green. She didn't do nothing. Is that so? Huh. Give me a second. Let me go ahead and just go ahead and refute that massive lie. And see, the white woman on C-SPAN, and see, this is my problem when you have these folk on these shows. They are unprepared for the lies. Henry, go to my iPad. Vice President Harris speaks about gun safety, abortion at Orlando Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority event. Uh-oh, what is that date line right there? Oops, that's July 14th, 2022. That wasn't campaign season. Oh, okay. I'm not done. Let's see here. Now, she don't acknowledge, she a AKA. Really? Because I was there in Dallas when she spoke to the AKAs. By the way, Michaela, you clearly ain't Greek. What you don't understand is that, guess what? Greeks have their conventions every 2 years. So they met in 2022, and then they met again in 2024. This right here is her wearing pink at the AK convention this year in 2024. So again, your lie doesn't stand. I ain't done. Let me go ahead and go here. Matter of fact, Henry, you can go to, let's see, Kamala Harris. And now go to the iPad. Tennessee State. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and go right here. Uh-oh, let's see here. Boom. Vice President Kamala Harris gives a commencement speech at Tennessee State. Okay, Michaela, why is that important? Because the black woman who was the president of Tennessee State at the time was Dr. Glenda Glover. Who was Dr. Glenda Glover when she gave this speech? She was an international president of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. So she was actually there with her sorority sister. But, Michaela, I'm not done refuting your silly-ass lies. Let's go ahead and go back. Let's see here. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see. Let's see here. VP Harris. Michaela, since you a liar like Trump, and Divine 9. Let's see what comes up. Let's go right here. We got all these stories right here, what the Divine 9 is doing, and how they lining up. If I click images, oh my goodness. Let's go to the LA Sentinel. Vice President Kamala Harris discussing voting right with her collegiate family, the Divine 9. Let's go to the story of this black newspaper. Oh my God. What is the dateline on that story? It's October 7th, 2021. That means that Vice President Kamala Harris was in the White House for only 9 months. They came in January, and the meeting was in October, so 9-10 months. That's October 7th, 2021. My God, let's look at, oh my God, my goodness. Here's a photo of Vice President Kamala Harris talking to Dr. Glenda Glover. Oh my God, who is Glenda Glover? She's the president of Tennessee State, and at the time in the picture was the president of Alpha Kappa Alpha. Ain't that interesting? Let's see here. Vice President Kamala Harris, she ain't sitting here, she don't rep her university. She don't rep. Really? Damn, hold on. Let's see here. Who played last year in the Celebration Bowl in Atlanta? Y'all remember? Who was in the game last year? Florida A&M and who? HU. If I recall correctly, matter of fact, I be damned. There's actual video of the vice president. There's actual video of the vice president at the game. In fact, she actually went into the booth and talked at the game. Go ahead and turn it up, y'all, because I want to make sure that ain't no impersonator.
Proud graduate of Howard University.
A very proud Bison.
Yeah.
Here to cheer on my team.
Can I say our team when she's around? Can I say our team?
Yes, we can.
I don't know about all of that. Okay, so we saw you a couple of years ago, the Truth and Service Classic, and then again, you supported the men's basketball team.
Of course.
You're here now, and so what do these type of events mean to you personally?
Well, I mean, it's a lived experience. I, grew up through college, going to our games, and then go back for every year for many years to homecoming, and to be able to celebrate the team as an extension of celebrating the school and all HBCUs. I mean, it's very much a part of just a cultural appreciation and, and really lifting up.
We good. So, oh my goodness. So we sitting here. Oh, she ain't doing this. She ain't doing. Really? That's interesting. Matter of fact, I'm sitting here going through some photos right here in 2021, and I'm trying to see, because I did take some photos of her. This was a game on September 18, 2021, when Howard played Hampton. Guess who talked? You know what? Let me just go in. Because see, Michaela, your ass went on C-SPAN just straight up lying. And see, this is what happens when you lie. Okay, let's see. VP Harris and HU game Audi Field. I guess I remember that because I was actually at the game. I was actually there. We actually covered it. So she was there. That's September 2021. So how, Michaela, can your silly ass go on TV and say, she doesn't claim being an AKA, and she doesn't claim Howard University, when you are a flat-out liar? And then you say she only does this during election season. She did in 2021. She did in 2022. She did in 2023. She did in 2024. So how did she only do it during election season? So right there, we ain't even 30 seconds into the video and already busted your ass on multiple lies. Press play.
Community while in office. We saw bills signed for Asians. We saw bills passed for migrants, which primarily affect the Hispanic community. We saw bills passed for literally everyone but black people. So for her,
here we
additionally,
go, free right there. Here her lying ass go. She went to the, y'all, you know what? Matter of fact, Keenan didn't get it to me, but Michaela, I should award you a Trump University degree of BS and bullshit communications, because you have actually earned it. Your BS and bullshit communications. Again, she repeated the Tyrese lie. Asians got a bill. No, they didn't. You clearly ain't read the damn law. I have. You haven't. It applies to everybody. Everybody else, the migrants got something. Black folks to get. This is the same woman who went on an Atlanta radio station touting Trump and HBCUs, which is a lie. $16 billion HBCUs have received under Biden-Harris. $16 billion. Y'all, she even's gonna lie in the next clip about HBCU money. So we could talk about HBCU money. We could talk about 3 consecutive years. Under Biden-Harris, 45% of the black businesses that went out of business during COVID under Trump were brought back. We could talk about 3 consecutive years of growth among black businesses through the Small Business Administration. Girl, what the hell are you talking about? More lies. Press play.
Last thing, after she took that oath of office, she went on record to say that she was the first South Asian vice president. At no point in time did she promote her blackness. At no point in time did she acknowledge.
Lord, did she really? My goodness. Mustafa Julian Joe. Have y'all ever heard Vice President Kamala Harris talk about her blackness? Now this child trying to sit here and say, oh no, she ain't never touted her. Mustafa, you go ahead and go first.
Well, evidently she's never had any conversations with the vice president, which I have.
She ain't even used Google. You ain't gonna talk to the vice president. Damn, use Google.
That's true. I mean, the information is there if you want it. If you don't, then it helps to reinforce the false narrative and the misinformation and disinformation that you are intentionally sharing, not just with the country. This information is actually focused for the black community because they understand that if they can get a smaller percentage of our folks to not want either vote for her or not to vote at all, then they achieve their goal. So it's just a part of a larger strategy.
Just lying. Just lying. First, let me do this here. Y'all, hold on, Julie. I'm gonna come to you next. Y'all, go ahead and play. Let's just hear more of the lies. Go ahead.
Her blackness. At no point in time does she market herself as a black woman. And that was when she was Attorney General. That's back when she was DA. That's all the way until she was Senator. And of course, as Vice President. So the fact that, again, she's using this black card during the election season just so black people will turn out to vote for her. And then she will, if she were to win, she would be in office and then fail those same black people who did everything in their power to get her in. I think that's disgusting. I think that's unfair. And I think think that that's why I personally reached out to the Trump campaign and asked if I could speak, because I'm like, you guys might be offended when he says it, but what are you going to do when I say it? Because at the end of the day, I am a black woman. I've lived a black life, and therefore I pay attention to politics. So I was actually excited for her when she ran for president the first time. Just the fact that she was in the race, I was like, okay, HBCUs, do your thing. But she never acknowledged said HBCUs. In the first 100 days of the administration, they cut funding to HBCUs.
Freeze right
she
there.
Did nothing
see,
to support
right, see, freeze, see right there. See, here's that other lie. Here's that other lie, and I busted the liars. First of all, Michaela, you don't actually read. So stop it.
Well,
let's just stop right there. You don't read. You don't read, you don't watch, you don't listen. You don't. And this whole day, I follow politics. No, you don't. Because it's evident in the lies that you all told. I done already busted your lies about AKAs. I have busted your lies about Howard University. I have busted your lies now about HBCU funding. The fact of the matter is, they didn't cut funding. The initial bill that was proposed was a massive multi-trillion-dollar bill. Remember, during the campaign, Biden talked about providing $35 billion to black and, he said, HBCU and Hispanic serving institutions. That money was put in the initial bill. Congress went from, 10 trillion to 5 to 3.5, 3.5 to 2.5, 2.5 to 1.5. Then Senator Joe Manchin actually blocked the bill. So what did they do? They then found other ways to fund HBCUs. So what you just said right there, Michaela, it's a flat out lie. Matter of fact, since you want to go ahead, so hold up, before I show y'all, so here, Michaela, here's your degree right here. We did have it. Michaela, we're going to send this to you. This is your Trump University Bachelor of Science in Bullshit Communications degree. This right here is your, we have awarded you your Trump University degree because what you clearly went to Trump University for your research because you just sit here and just laid out massive amounts of lies repeatedly on that show. Okay, so y'all, she sat here and gave us all these lies about they cut this and they cut that and they haven't helped HBCUs and they done really. Okay, Michaela, let me ask you this question: how much money, Michaela, did Donald Trump provide to HBCUs? I'll wait. Because here's what I know, because I've showed this many times on this show, Julian, and you know this. Boom, COVID relief to HBCUs. Right here. Where's this document from? This is an Excel spreadsheet that came from the Department of Education. Oh, let me go right here. Boom, I'm gonna go right down here. Michaela, what's that bottom number right down there? $6.567 billion. Michaela, tell me how much money did Donald Trump provide to HBCUs? I'll wait. See, again, y'all, she's lying. And see, what happened was Associated Press and Newsweek, they were like, oh, Biden cut HBCU funding, $35 billion. It was a lie. It was a flat out lie. We walked you through the whole deal on the show. They didn't cut funding, they increased funding. But guess what? Dr. Walter Kimbrough, three-time HBCU president, Philander Smith, Dillard, and now Talladega, he's worked at 3 other HBCUs. He laid out in his own research how Donald Trump's budget submitted to Congress zeroed out funding for HBCUs. Oh, Michaela, that's your boy. That's the boy you went and met with at Chick-fil-A. So you like, oh, what they gonna do? They gonna question me? They gonna call and question my blackness? We gonna call and question your sanity, because all you have done is lie. So you have lied about AKs, you've lied about Howard, you lied about her not claiming her blackness, and now you lied about HBCU funding. That's 4 lies, and we ain't even finished playing the clip. And so, Julian, she can sit here, and again, you can just make it up, but it's irrefutable. I dare Michaela, I dare you, Michaela Montgomery, I dare you to come on this show and tell me that Donald Trump did not submit 3 consecutive budgets where they zeroed out funding for HBCUs. I dare you to come on this show and show me that it was AI video of Vice President Kamala Harris speaking to the AKs in Orlando in 2022. I dare you to show me it was AI of her going to the Howard University versus Hampton game at Audi Field in September 2021, a non-election year. I dare you to come on this show and say it was AI or she was attending the Celebration Bowl last year in Atlanta in December 2023, a non-election year. So it's amazing how you can sit on C-SPAN and just lie, but guess what? On the Black-owned show, you can't lie, because I'm telling you right now, sister girl, you can talk about your black experience. I'll put your black experience against my black experience any day of the week, Julianne.
I don't know what's wrong with that child. That's all I have to say. You know, before I learned how to cuss, that I must have been about 3. We used to tell each other, my siblings, you're a lie and a coot. And that's what a lie and a coot, because I can't call her MF lie on your show. Or I could, but I won't today. But this is disgusting. What's disgusting is that C-SPAN would give her that much play. What's also disgusting is she lied. I looked at it. I mean, Rishi was time enough for her, came right back at her. But this girl had to have fallen out of a cabbage patch or something to be willing, and she must not have any friends who went to HBCUs, because some of them would certainly check her. This is delusionism. Or, you know, she needs to be institutionalized for a little while, or there needs to be an intervention. People are just running around telling lies because it gives them some visibility. And so she got her little hour on CNN talking smack. That a quarter will not get her paper. And really, Roland, while I enjoy trash, we should be wasting our time on this.
Nope, you're wrong. Here's why. Because what happens is people like Michaela, they go on shows that don't fact check them, that don't correct them, that don't dispel their lies. People then take those clips and push them out, and folks believe it. No, you have to counter it. It was the same reason why when I saw the Tyrese video, I could have ignored it. I was with my family after my sister's death, and I said no, because you know what happened? The blogs picked it up. Hollywood Unlocked, Shade Room, Jasmine Brandon, others picked it up. And I said Tyrese's voice can't be the only one out there lying about this so-called Asian hate crime bill. It needs to be immediately fact-checked. And you know what happened? After I posted my video, guess what? Hollywood Unlocked, Shade Room, and the others picked up my response to refute what he had to say. No, I stand on truth. I stand on facts. And this ain't no Democrat fact, Republican fact. It ain't no blue or red. It ain't no black or white. It's facts or facts. And we can't allow any of these people to come out here and lie. Now, here's the deal. If you want to oppose Vice President Kamala Harris, that's fine. If you want to oppose her on policy, that's fine. What you're not going to do is actually lie about the policies. What you're not going to do is lie by saying she's never claimed being an AKA, when there are numerous times they've actually been to the White House in meetings of what she's actually had. What you're not going to do is lie about HBCU funding. What you're not going to do is lie about her only claiming Howard University during election season. In fact, hell, I'm sitting here thinking about it. Let me go right here. Let's see. VP Harris. And Howard commencement. Let's see right here. Oh, the 149th convocation. Who actually spoke at the 149th convocation? Oh, that's Vice President Kamala Harris. So please explain, I'm sorry, and correct me if I'm wrong, was last year an election year? No, it wasn't. And in fact, of course, President Joe Biden also spoke at the commencement. So what I find to be curious, again, Joe, are the folks who was, again, what Michaela will do is go on that show and lie, brazenly lie, that's easily fact-checked, and knowing full well that white anchor at C-SPAN was not going to fact-check her in real time because she didn't have the information.
you know, it's a great thing, I guess, to some to be able to go on a show and say whatever you want to on the national stage and not get fact-checked. First of all, Reese did a great job the other day as well. I really enjoyed watching that, and she banged on him with a whole lot of class, but she certainly banged on him. But again, you know, you've got a situation where somebody just makes a decision to tell a bunch of stuff that doesn't matter and it's not true. Very little of it having to do with policy. You can, you know, make a claim related to HBCUs, and theoretically that's policy because we're talking about funding. But most of it didn't even have anything to do with how Kamala Harris could be as a vice president, as a president, or how she's been as vice president. And so it's interesting how media outlets really entertain this. It's amazing how, you know, this guy from Fox News, I guess it was, you know, is actually on a salary and getting paid to actually go to the White House press briefing and ask a question that means absolutely nothing. Dana Bash on CNN, bless her heart, it's the first time, Kamala Harris is doing an interview. And she asks about, the idea that Donald Trump, says that at certain point she became black. That has nothing to do with anything. Aside from being ridiculous, it's not talking about the matter at hand. It was wasted time. And I am glad that the vice president treated that the way that she did. I am glad the White House press secretary treated it the way she did, but to your point, she could have done it even faster. But there are those of us that can spend time and take a lunch banging on these guys talking about, no, you said this was the case, and it's not. It's an absolute lie. And so to battle, we got to battle at all levels. You know what I mean? And so I agree with that. You're not going to be the one to hold back anyway. And so that's all good. But it's crazy. Listen, Kamala Harris is proud of her heritage, all parts of her heritage. She shouldn't have to go out of her way to make one person feel more comfortable about this, that, and the other. She is who she is. She always has been. She's a doggone good prosecutor. She was a good DA, a great senator, great vice president, and she'll be a great president. And that's that. And meanwhile, back at the ranch, for those that want to be used to tell lies, to tell things that aren't true, the Rolands of the world and the rest of us will, be a force that will come back at you related to it, because I think truth is an important thing. But, she wasted some time. But, those of us that want to help her down the road, looking not just to the corner but around it, will go ahead and correct her so that if she wants to be corrected, maybe she can get it right next time.
Let me be clear. Again, if you want to be a Donald Trump supporter, go right ahead. If you want to articulate, and I know some black people who are conservative, who are Republican, who say that here's the reason why they're voting for Trump. I think they're wrong. I think they're supporting a narcissistic, lying, insurrectionist, sexually assaulting asshole, but that's their right. But what will never be tolerated, Michaela Montgomery, is you going on a show and blatantly lying about Vice President Kamala Harris. And matter of fact, it ain't got to be about her. If you lying about somebody else. So here's my advice. Don't lie. Because see, when you get exposed as a liar, it's easy to refute everything you just said. It's simple. And you can't, and also, you just can't, let me throw up my blackness. Okay, you black. Okay, your black experience. Clarence Thomas black. And we know he's an enemy of black people based upon his own damn rulings. And so I'm going to end this segment again. Michaela Montgomery, on this day, September 3rd, 2024, we acknowledge and present you with your degree from Trump University, be it known upon this day by virtue of evolving into a deranged black MAGA grifter with no shame or adherence to facts who blindly supports Donald Trump, a twice impeached, 34-time convicted felon, election denier, serial liar, chaos agent, and wannabe dictator, has completed a dubious course of study with all honors and privileges pertaining thereto. Michaela Montgomery is hereby awarded the degree of Bachelor of Science in Bullshit Communications for demonstrating outstanding proficiency in the art of spinning fiction as truth, manipulating facts, and creating false narratives that defy logic and reality. please let us know what address to send you your degree. I'll be right back. We talk about blackness and what happens in black culture. We're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Checks and money orders go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is roland@rolandsmartin.com.
Hello, we're the Critter Fixers. I'm Dr. Bernard Hodges.
And I'm Dr. Terrence Ferguson.
And you're tuned in to
Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Well, my man Isaac Hayes posted this tweet, "Me at my black job today." He was in a federal courthouse in Atlanta where they were suing Donald Trump for the campaign's use of the song "Hold On, I'm Coming," which was co-written by his father, Isaac Hayes III. Well, guess what? The campaign must cease for now the use of that song. U.S. District Judge Thomas Thrash granted a motion for preliminary injunction at today's hearing in Atlanta. The state again sued Trump and his campaign, along with other defendants, claiming that the use of the song at rallies infringed on their copyright for the work. The song's co-author, David Porter, who wrote it with Hayes in 1966, also said he did not authorize the use of the music recorded by Sam and Dave. Actually, the estate of David Porter said that. However, the Trump campaign claimed it had permission with a BMI license obtained on November 30th, 2022. It also claimed that the Hayes estate was not the license holder, but Universal Music Publishing was. Well, here is the Hayes family and their attorneys holding a news conference after today's hearing.
After that license has been terminated by BMI, there's any opportunity to return to use the song. And that was told to him over 100 days ago, and he continued to use the song. So there's no coming back from using the song.
And how do you respond to the suggestion in court today that this is all politically motivated on your part?
That's totally not politically motivated.
I've been doing these cases for almost 30 years. We've gotten probably 250 plus artists out of bad contracts in situations like this. This is what we do. I saw him post something on August 3rd, and I called him from Chicago and said, "Do you want us to handle this?" And he said, "Please step in." So from August 3rd to September 3rd, he has shut Donald Trump down. He and the team of lawyers, Ava, Liz Gardner sitting back here quietly, our copyright administrator, Gina, Ryan, there's a whole team of people. Paul Wilson, one of my associates, summer associates who couldn't be here, really did a heat of work, a whole lot of work here, a large amount of work, and our Howard Law students also stepped in. So I want to make sure we recognize a body of people who worked nonstop for 30 days to get a preliminary injunction on Donald Trump. That is an unheard of order by a court. It's one of the highest and hardest things you can get a court to award you. But this man got it.
In the beginning, you wanted to play a video, one piece of evidence.
Correct.
The opening was powerful. Are you disappointed the judge didn't allow you to play the entire video?
You said it in the elevator. He played it through?
Yeah, he played it exactly where I wanted him to know that Isaac Hayes was a songwriter and had written amazing records like Hold On, I'm Coming and Soul Man for artists like Sam and Dave, and he established himself as a writer. So for people to think that nobody knows that Isaac Hayes wrote Hold On, I'm Coming, that's just simply not true. He was inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame along with David Porter in 2005. So very many people that know, and more importantly, the people that we do business with that could affect Donald Trump using our music know who Isaac Hayes is and who the writer of that song is.
Of course, the family is also suing Trump to get $3 million for past use as well. You know what, Joe? It's a whole bunch of Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, copyright lawyers who are real silent because a lot of folks were blasting Isaac. Oh, he had the right to use it. Y'all gonna lose. Uh-oh.
Yeah, And to the point that's made, it is a very high standard to get a preliminary injunction, because normally when a case gets sued, it's very hard to make the court do something in your favor before you cross the finish line of having won the case. So anytime, whether you're doing a prejudgment writ or whether you're doing a TRO, which can lend into a preliminary injunction, at some level, you basically have to show that it looks like you're going to win. At the very beginning. And so that's what's so hard about that standard. It's a hard mountain to climb, and I think it says a whole lot that they actually got that right away, and they got it on their first try. So they're absolutely on their way. Trump and those guys, they like to handle business later, if at all. And his problem is he ran up against the family of a legend with great lawyers behind him and with a great team. These kids at Howard, I'm sure, are learning some fantastic stuff, but they're climbing the mountain. And the fact that they got a preliminary injunction already, that means that they're in the driver's seat, no doubt about it.
And didn't take him long, Mustafa. That was a quick decision.
Yeah, that was really quick. You know, Trump's always lived this life of privilege where he feels that he can extract whatever he wants and there's no consequences to it. And they showed him today that, yes, there are consequences. Yes, you will follow the letter of the law and you will be held accountable.
Julian, the reason this is important because other artists have complained about Trump using the music. No, this was the first time someone actually sued him in his campaign. That also is the difference here.
Absolutely. No, first of all, if it was political, they say it wasn't, and it probably wasn't. But if it was, so what? That music belongs to Isaac Hayes' estate. And Mr. Trump, you can't just go around taking stuff. I mean, you order stuff from shop holders and you don't pay them. You don't want to pay anything. You still haven't paid Jean Carroll. But guess what? You will pay Isaac Hayes Jr. You will pay him. So I admire the brother for his moxie. And the brother from Chicago, he saw the tweet and he responded immediately. That's called working together. And I'm just really excited and happy for them. But it also sends Mr. Trump yet another warning. His behavior is not going to be universally tolerated forever. He breaks every rule, everything. He has no respect for anybody, and his chicken's about to come home to roost.
Absolutely. So that's what's going on there. So bottom line is we'll see what happens next in this particular case. Before we go, let me say this here. Y'all, you can leave it right there on the four shot. So I don't give a damn what folk think. So last week during the show, we were playing the video, and then it rolled to on Twitter when you're on the iPad, it skips another video. And it was a video of some dude with his butt out. So then you got these black MAGA folks sitting here like, oh, Roll 'em Out was showing gay porn. First of all, that was stupid. And I had somebody hit me because I didn't give a damn what none of them thought. And somebody hit me and they said, first of all, it was a UK show of a straight nudity dating show. Like, I'm gonna watch that bullshit. So what's stupid with these people is that they actually think like it don't jump. So like I was sitting here, I had like this Isaac Hayes videos queued up. So I was playing this, and then all of a sudden, then go to it, come on. Then all of a sudden, it jumps to another video. You don't know what the hell is the next video. Literally, I have no idea what the hell this is. So that's what happens. But let me explain something to all y'all ignorant people. Matter of fact, let me just go, I'm gonna fast forward this right here, and then it's gonna jump to something else. I don't even know what it is. So I don't know what the hell that is. And so then if I fast forward that, it's gonna jump to some other damn video. Why the hell would I be watching a Taylor Swift Jimmy Fallon video? So when they say, well, it's the algorithm, trust me, Taylor Swift and Jimmy Fallon ain't in my damn usage on Twitter. So that's what this whole thing does. So these fools been sitting here, ooh, you gay. Let me tell y'all something. First of all, I'm not. Second of all, I don't give a shit if I was. And what y'all think. I literally don't give a damn. And y'all can sit here and say what y'all want to say on Twitter, whatever. I do not care. Because guess what? I'm going to keep lighting y'all asses up till Trump lose. I'm letting you know every single day we're going to be lighting his behind up. So I don't give a damn what none of y'all think. I don't. Let me tell y'all something. I've been writing columns since I was 17 years old. I got hate letters. White folks were sending me racist stuff. I remember when I was at Texas A&M, I wrote a column in the school newspaper blasting the band for playing the song Dixie at halftime. I came home, my brother was like, man, what you do? I was like, what you mean? He said, the whole voicemail full. He said, with racist folks cussing you out. Do y'all think I gave a damn then? And I give a damn now? So y'all can say whatever y'all want to say, and y'all can call me whatever you want to call me, but I really do not care. And you know what? There have been other times when we played videos and it jumped. We caught it. Other times we didn't. Hell, I remember we did this the other day, and this fine Brazilian model came up, and you know what? Guess what? I caught it in time, so it happened. So I really don't care. And so, again, this stuff is going to happen, and y'all deal with it. But let me remind all y'all again, especially you black MAGA grifters, I don't give a damn about none of y'all, because y'all know there's a special place in the hell reserved for every single one of you. I don't know what's, Julian, I don't know why these people think I give a damn what they think at 55 when I ain't give a damn what they thought when I was 17.
They're not thinking. They truly not thinking. And they obviously don't watch Roland Martin Unfiltered on a regular basis, because if they did, they know that you got something for them. You know, like a big old can of whoop ass, if you will, for them with this, like that Michaela person. You know, so I don't know what they're thinking, but I know that they're not thinking. They cruising for bruising, as they say.
And I got this fool talking about, on one level, Roland, I believe you, but you have someone removing the insulting comments. Because we can do what we want to do. If you don't like it, go start your own YouTube channel. See, I don't understand, Joe, why these folk think that they somehow can say whatever they want to say and we good. Yeah, we will delete your ass in a minute.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if they don't want to scrap.
All right, Julian, thanks.
If they want to scrap, I mean, this is the show for it. So you know, we just gonna keep it moving. Call it like we see it. I know you're gonna call it like you see it, and that'll be that. I know you're not worried about that, nor are you worried about how somebody feels about you having sugar on your grits. I learned that one up close too. So don't give a
damn. Matter of fact, and y'all gonna laugh at this. I'm glad you brought that up. So, no. Let me find this video, because so let me find this video. I'm so glad you brought that up.
I know he'd appreciate that.
We went out to, so Friday, we went to the funeral home to view my sister's body with my family. Then after that, we went to the Breakfast Club. My man Marcus Davis, I appreciate y'all taking care of us. So I took my parents there and two of my nieces. My sister, Ken, passed away, two of her 4 girls. And so they brought out some grits, eggs, and bacon. And see, my dad has always texted me tripping about sugar on grits. And so, you know, I pull the camera out and had to do this here. Y'all go to my iPad.
That is so funny. Look at that. Well, there it is. Your daddy doesn't seem to approve of you putting sugar on your grits, Roland.
I ain't care.
He didn't get it from me, look.
Right, see, Mustafa, I don't care, because I paid for the breakfast.
That's good that you taking care of your family like that. I ain't never had no sugar on no grits, but
don't care. Don't care.
Yeah.
You ain't every now and then.
You ain't paying for them.
Right. I just hope, Roland, I hope that our folks get focused on the upliftment of our community. We continue to allow all this ancillary stuff to take us away from the hard work that we still have to do. And usually within a couple of minutes, you can tell if somebody is serious about our community or not, because they're talking about things that have no value to the folks who are out there every day trying to keep the lights on, trying to pay the rent, trying to do all these things. So we need to get focused, because we got a whole bunch of other folks that do not want to see our communities thrive. and will do everything in their power to keep us in a survival mode. So Black folks, we need to just get down to the work. We need to stay focused, and that should be our sets of conversations.
And again, just in case y'all didn't hear, I don't give a damn. Not 3 dams, not 2 dams, not 1 dam. What y'all got to say? All right, Juliana had to bounce. Joe, I appreciate it. Mustafa, I appreciate it. Y'all, thank you for watching today's show. Again, if y'all on YouTube, y'all ain't hit the like button, please do so. Tomorrow is anniversary day. Tomorrow is the 6th anniversary of Roland Martin Unfiltered. It is the 3rd anniversary of the Black Star Network. And so we look forward to having a great show for you tomorrow. It has been an absolute blast. Y'all have been phenomenal in supporting this show, and I appreciate that. This whole thing started with this sister from Long Island, New York. She was 92 years old, and she sent a $500 check as for the fan base. Lee Saunders with AFSCME. They were the first sponsor for our first 2 years of this show, and so that's why we're here. We appreciate their work. We appreciate their support, and so again, we're going to have a fantastic show tomorrow. Look forward to y'all being here. Don't forget, support the work that we do. Y'all, we don't just sit here and do drive-bys when it comes to Black information. We unpack the issues that are critically important. We don't waste our time with these people who don't care about the issues that we care about. We actually will cover the stuff that matters. And so when you support Roland Martin Unfiltered and the Black Star Network and our other shows, you are supporting Black-owned media. We don't ask anybody for permission to talk about Black people. We speak to our issues every single day. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. Send your check and money order. P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. Cash App, $RM Unfiltered. PayPal, R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo, RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Download the Black Star Network app. Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. Get my book, White Fear, How the Browning of America is Making White Folks Lose Their Mind. Available bookstores nationwide. Get your copy. Folks, I will see y'all tomorrow for our 6th anniversary of Roland Martin Unfiltered, the 3rd anniversary of the Black Star Network. Holla! Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punch!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?